Good day, lacrosse fans. It has been a fantastic one here in Orangeville, celebrating the game of lacrosse with Orangeville Northmen Alumni Day. The Pee Wee teams from both Orangeville and Mimico got things started with a 5-5 tie at 1 o'clock this afternoon, followed by an overtime game for the Orangeville Northmen Alumni, Team Black, taking that one 14-13 in overtime, as there was a penalty shot right at the end of regulation to tie things up. And now it is Mimico and Orangeville in Junior A lacrosse action. This is part of our partnership season-long coverage of the OLA on the JVI Sports Network. I am Matthew Carrick, and we are happy to be in the Tony Rose Arena, or since this is Alumni Day, the Bunny Barn, as Mimico will win the opening face-off wearing the double blue unis and going right to left here, working away from Riley Hutchcraft in our first period. As the standings will try and get to most of those as the evening progresses, pardon me. But they are an absolute mess. And Six Nations and Whitby did no favors to that earlier this afternoon, as the Six Nations Arrows defeated the Whitby Warriors 11-5. So Six Nations will extend their lead, and that means that Mimico tonight with a win can leapfrog Whitby to take over second place. Here's Orangeville working left to right, starting on the far side. Matt Van Galen towards the crease, as now he's going to shovel it around as he continues the circle. Daniel Balawader right on him, and I believe, did Mimico step back in? Riley Hutchcraft arguing the call, as Warren Jeffrey now did a fake pass out of the corner from Cresswell, as Braden Cresswell is going to send a hard sidearm shot off the backboards, picked up by Josh Taguri, who's going to spin away from pressure. And the first real offensive set here for Mimico is underway. Tanner Thompson, one-on-one on the near side with the captain. That's Mackenzie Mitchell as the shot goes from the far side. Hits something on its way through, but Rylan Hartley makes his first save of the evening. Into the corner, Thompson again, far side. Shot, Hartley again with the save, and again, Mimico will extend possession here. And the bench comes alive with that as they bang the sticks, and Tanner Thompson getting it back into the corner. John Watson signaling reset as Mark Thompson is down in the corner. Counting the shot clock, looked like John Watson reset the clock, but Thompson still has the count down in the corner. Thompson with it. They return it back to Ben French. And now the two counts match each other, 10 on the shot clock as that one goes wide. And the rebound's picked up by Mike McCannell. Delzato will carry up over center. Cresswell with it again, down into the corner. As that one goes just wide, and in transition, Mimico working in a shot there. Hartley with another save. It'll be played up on the near boards as Orangeville comes into the attacking zone. All the way up top, Mac O'Keefe. Mimico defender gets a piece of that, and it doesn't quite get all the way in on net. As we've already played 3 minutes here in the opening period. No score so far. As Jonathan Donville will get set up. This one into the corner. And from the ground, it was swatted at, enough to stop the clock. As Orangeville will work up the near side. Zach Deacon. Deacon sets the pick as the ball works into the corner. Shot coming from McCannell. And Mimico will get possession again here. Robert Hudson over center will put into the corner for Tanner Thompson. Thompson up top. That's out of the reach of Matthew Godet. Back for French. French flips to Godet. Under 10 on the shot clock now as they go back for Thompson. 5 to go. Back up top. looking for the shot was French, and he's tied up. And the shot clock will expire before Mimico can get a shot away, and that'll signal an early change here for Orangeville. Cresswell down the near side. Cresswell still with it. Goes to Van Galen. Pick coming here from Dylan Riley. Van Galen back to Mac O'Keefe. Spins away from one. Ends up down on the floor. Josh Chiguri with the big whack. Jars the ball free, trying to split the defense on his horse. Chiguri shoots just wide off the backboards, and that's in the stick of Mitchell. Mackenzie Mitchell. One step there on Justin Scott, but still managed to get the pass away. Can't complete it though, and now finally Mac O'Keefe comes down with it. O'Keefe on the floor and being worked over there. I believe that's Matthew Sykes who's involved with O'Keefe. As his shot goes wide off the backboard, it's going to bounce all the way down the floor as Hartley's going to leave the crease to play it. Cresswell up over center. He's going to take it himself, and his shot goes high over top of the net, off the glass. This one coming in on Hutchcraft, who does make the save though. And Warren Jeffrey quickly up the floor, 2-on-1. Donville keeps, and Jonathan Donville the shot. Hartley the save, and then a nice play with the stick to get up for Braden Davis, who will start the counterattack here for Orangeville. Two teams that like to push in transition. We could have a quick one on our hands here today. Hope you made the popcorn early, as Scott Delzato now shoots it into the defender. Working down the far side, Matt Graham, the AP out of Mississauga. His first touch, trying to find Hudson, and Hudson's shot was blocked. So it'll be played for Mike McCannell. 6 minutes gone here. Just a couple real quick whistles, nothing else to speak of in this first period so far. As Delzato lets one rip, Hutchcraft to save, rebound into the corner. Delzato postures up, Ballowader on his back. As there's a big collision in there. Warren Jeffrey coming to help out for Mimico. And Matt Graham gets the stick on it, where he'll leave back for Warren Jeffrey. It's actually James Guest running off, pardon me. As Tanner Thompson now brings it into the offensive zone. Took a while to get there though. 6 on the shot clock as it's in the far corner. Looking back for Thompson, who was on the near side just outside the fan. And Orangeville will have it back here again. Chris Woolman. Jeff Henrik over into the corner. A frantic pace still ongoing here in what's been a building with a lot of action. The lights been on all day, so yes, breaking news, it's hot inside the Bunny Barn today. Donville jogs down the near side. A couple picks set in front of him by Alex Simons. Briefly up top. Ball continues to bounce around the far side. Couple Mimico players had it. Torek Orban outside the crease will maintain his position with a man on his back. But what a goal there by Torek Orban. The first one of the game gives Mimico the 1-0 lead here with 12:41 left in the period. Fantastic body positioning. Let's try and get to some of those standings while we have a break here. And Mimico sits half a game back of Whitby in third. 9 games played, a 7-2 record gives them 14 points. As we said, Whitby with 15 points, lost earlier this afternoon, so Mimico can take over second spot for the second time in 7 days as they beat Whitby at home last Saturday to take second place. Whitby regained it with their win over Burlington on Tuesday, a game that we had right here on the JVI Sports Network. And then behind that, it gets real busy. Brampton, St. Catharines tied at 12 points. Burlington, Toronto tied at 11. And Orangeville currently sitting in the final playoff spot with 10 points. This is their 13th game, so a win for them would put them in a statistical tie for what is now 4th place. Jump from 8th to 4th with 1 win potentially here tonight. as we're going to get a holding call here. And I think it's coming to Mimico. But things are an absolute mess with the trade deadline looming. It'll be interesting to see what some teams do as Orangeville goes on the power play here, because nobody's really out of it by a lot and nobody's really in it by a lot except for Six Nations. Cresswell from the corner was trying to find Riley cutting through, and they couldn't connect. Hudson nearly tripped up at center as the shot clock will turn off. And now Mimico will just go into rag mode here. That shot does make its way through. Big save made by Hartley. As Mimico, Donville on the corner. Mitchell got in the way of that shot. And then the rebound was picked up again by Orangeville as they slowly bring it up the far side. Hidden ball play there. I believe that's Van Galen, who did flip to Riley. They work on the near side now. Cresswell in the corner, O'Keefe. Van Galen has it as Riley sets the pick. Van Galen shoots over the top. Taguri playing on the rebound. 45 seconds left in the Orangeville power play. Big tie-up in front of the penalty box area as Taguri gets filled in. Ball looked like it may have gone over the line. Mark Thompson right there to say no. As Alex Simons will keep the play alive. Shot clock off again. Final 30 here of the penalty. Donville all the way outside by Mitchell. Donville putting it in the corner though, where French picks up, and Mark Thompson gets an earful as he passes in front of that Mimico bench. But it will be Van Galen for what will probably be the final shot of the power play, as there's only 8 minutes left on it now. 10 left in the period. Outside shot from Mac O'Keefe. Hutchcraft hangs on, and that will in fact do it for the power play. Mimico into the corner with it. Tanner Thompson trying to go over the top. Kept alive though by Orangeville, and they work in on a 2-on-1 led by Mac McConnell. McConnell spins and fires, and another penalty coming here to Mimico. And is this too many men? Steve Toll in absolute disbelief. This time last week he was already on his way to the shower as he lasted about 4 minutes in that game. Cresswell will start the power play though up top for Orangeville. As O'Keefe has it. And Van Galen up top, a big step there, faking the shot. Cresswell in the corner. Back to O'Keefe. And Cresswell, 13 on the shot clock. They let rip, and Hutchcraft makes the save. Another fake from Van Galen. Him and O'Keefe still playing catch here. O'Keefe into the corner. Cresswell, minute and a half on the power play. O'Keefe and Van Galen, shot. Hutchcraft to save. Riley the rebound. Cresswell out of the corner, comes up and sets a huge pick on Jackson Subak as the ball floats its way into the stick of Hutchcraft, and Hudson up the floor will turn off the shot clock as Mimico kills the penalty. That Whitby Warriors game to put a cap on that part of Lacrosse Day in Durham as they celebrate our game out in Durham region as well as they did here in Orangeville today. Understand that Sean Williams will dress for the Brooklyn Redmen later tonight. Riley Hutchcraft has served a couple games as their backup goaltender for the Redmen this season. Most recently as, I believe, Wednesday night, if I'm not mistaken, played it against the Oakville Rock on Monday as well. in the Oakville win. Tanner Thompson will just hang on here as there's 12 seconds left. Again, we believe it was too many men against the Mimico bench. Torek Orban serving that penalty. Closing in on 7.5 left to play in the period. And the power play is over now. So Mimico will start a play as Donville takes Torek Orban's spot. In the corner, Thompson passing there, looking for Donville, who was wide open. He takes a bit of a whack from Kyle Stavely after the fact. 10 on the shot clock as Thompson accepts that low pass. Near side, Donville spinning around. Big pick from Thompson, sidearm shot. That one into the body of one of the defenders. Looks like Jeff Henrik. And a bit of a stare down there from Henrik, but everyone goes their separate ways. 7 minutes left here in the period. Just one goal to speak of. And it was on the side of Mimico. A beautiful goal by Adrian Torek Orban as he towed the line to the crease. Other than that, we've had a couple penalties go the visitors' way as Riley shoots this one over top of Hutchcraft. But just 1-0 on the board as we're flying through period number 1 here. Alex Simons up top. He'll push to the far side, ducking under the check. Returns to the near boards for Simons again. Continues to work down low, spins, fires. Hartley the save. And Hartley will get it up to center. The low skip pass. A little too much there for Zach Masson, who does corral it as the pick from Keaton Thompson was arriving. 6 minutes left. Shot clocks aren't synced up, so there's 15 left. As this one's going to skip away off the back glass, and Mimico had a brief breakaway, but they'll hold up here as Hartley comes out of the crease. Riley, hard pass down the floor. Shot clock should expire, and now does. And I wonder if this is a sheet issue. John Watson did go to the Mimico bench, now over to Orangeville side just to explain whatever that was. 5:37 left here in the period. As Mimico has possession now, Donville and Thompson. Tanner Thompson with it, takes a shot into the stick of Hartley. He flips it right to Donville though, so it'll be fresh 30 here for Mimico. Matthew Gaudette. Back for Donville. Again, shot clocks aren't reset, or aren't synced up rather. It's Thompson. Gets taken down hard. Ben French on scene, but first one there was an Orangeville player. Quickly pushes up to Jeff Henrik. Bench urging him to get on with it. As Mimico comes streaming off the bench, though, it was 1-on-4 briefly. But now reinforcements do arrive. Mike McCannell the shot. Didn't quite get through to Hartley. So Van Galen has less than 10 on the shot clock now. Shot is tipped into Hutchcraft in 4.5 minutes left in the first period. Mimico will jog it up to center. Couple big whacks down in the corner. Full house here at the Tony Rose Arena in Orangeville. Off to our right, stands full of Mimico fans who applauded their boys as they made the floor. And on the left, the home side, as well as up in the booster lounge, many of the alumni who took to the floor in the earlier games here today. O'Keefe. Ball returns near side for Andrew Garrett. Garrett looking for Delzato on the far side as his pass goes off the boards, and we're going to get a holding penalty here as Delzato drew the tug, and for the third time this period, Mimico will head to the penalty box with Robert Hudson going off now for the hold. All over Scott Delzato. YouTube.com/JVI Sports Network is where you can catch our season-long coverage throughout the Ontario Lacrosse Association, including games here in the Junior A Lacrosse League. As we said, Orangeville Burlington earlier this week, Whitby Brampton earlier this week. All those games now available. And there's a few major series games up from Coburg on the channel as well. Mac O'Keefe through the middle, took a big hit there from Keaton Thompson. Thompson was the one who got the worst of it. Taguri splitting the defense with a spin move, and now he's going to put the brakes on. Looked like he was going to try and get to the net. But the Northmen quickly out onto the floor as we close in on 1 minute left here in the power play. Shot clock off as they work to the far side. Less than 3 here in the period. Donville cutting to the net. They can't find him. They go to Thompson instead. Tanner Thompson with it. Thompson cuts through, takes a low shot. That one skips into the corner. Zach Masson takes his man into the boards and then down. And that'll give Mimico possession. It looks like Tanner Thompson will restart with it. Donville on the near side. Double team in the corner though. Torek Orban using his size to get around the first and now trying the second, but Zach Deacon a nice recovery. It pops out the back. And 26 seconds will be left on the power play as Orangeville touches this ball. Jeff Henrik over center as the Northmen jog in with it. O'Keefe in the corner, Cresswell. Fake up top. Cresswell takes the shot. Funny hop in front of Hutchcraft, but he is going to get the stick on it, and that should do it for the power play as there's only a couple ticks left. And Robert Hudson indeed does step back onto the floor with just over 90 seconds left to play in the first. Tanner Thompson to Matthew Gaudette. Back for Thompson again. French in front. He's going to flip over to the cutter on the far side, and the shot comes from Thomas McConvey. And Hartley makes sure there's no rebound. As now Orangeville will get a chance. Closing in on the final minute. Shot from outside by Garrett. Hutchcraft is down, rebound underneath him, and he'll hang on for the whistle as Taguri picks it out of the crease. Josh Taguri finds the man off the bench. Now will head there himself. Donville with it as we do hit the final 60 seconds. Donville past the first pick, and a beautiful slide there by Henrik, as every time Mimico sets a pick, there's someone in the face of the man working around. Both of these teams over the past couple years have had fantastic defenses. And I believe we're going to get a timeout here. It was just an early restart, I guess, as Orangeville still has it. Big slip there from Mac O'Keefe. He ends up underneath of Matthew Sykes, as now Van Galen has to chase this one down. 13 on the shot clock. It'll be 10 once he gets back into the set. But he's jogging his way. Now 6 on the clock. 20 left in the period as Van Galen collides with Jackson Subak. Shot goes over top of Subak into the corner, and it looks like Mimico will signal timeout here. Ball restarts in the crease, up for Donville now. Riley Hutchcraft is on the bench, 6 seconds, right to the crease for Matthew Gaudette. We saw this in Burlington with an early shot that Hartley nearly scored on, picked up out of the corner, and bombed down the floor. Braden Davis, I think, had time, but well off the mark. The first period ends 1-0 for Mimico. We'll be back, period number 2 from the Tony Rose Arena after this brief break. We get you set for period number 2 here at the Tony Rose Arena in Orangeville. 1-0 Mimico after that first period, thanks to the goal by Adrian Torque-Orban. And that's it. All to speak of, 1 goal, a very fast first period. As the time is still ticking down again, kids taking to the floor in that intermission. We had the alumni game earlier today. A lot of who's who in the lacrosse world, obviously, as Orangeville alumni tend to go on to bigger and better things in lacrosse once they leave this minor system. That was better than some all-star games I've seen. Some of the names that were dressed in that Orangeville alumni game. But anyways, we cap off a fantastic day of celebrating lacrosse here in Orangeville with Junior A action featuring the Orangeville Northmen, and the Mimico Mountaineers. Over the shoulder attempt there from Zach Masson. Right in front of the crease, goes wide into the corner, kicked ahead now by Braden Davis. As Hutchcraft will eventually touch up in his crease. And it'll be brought up the near side by Taguri. Josh Taguri to Ben French. Donville out the door. Over to Justin Scott. Now French again. It's circled in the corner. As Donville brings it back to the near side. Tanner Thompson takes a couple whacks. Mackenzie Mitchell goes with him. Donville tied up on the crease. Can't hang on to that shot. And it will be pushed ahead here by Orangeville with a fresh 30 seconds. Mike McCannell flips the ball off, now heads off the floor. Cresswell into the corner, spin move there. Going with him is Kieran Costello. And too much on the check, so we have interference. And Mimico working in the bounce shot there from Alex Simons. This one's going to go all the way down in very short glass here. At the Tony Rose Arena, it skips over the top and into the corner. It's played by Van Galen. Matt Van Galen's pass hits off the glass. And again, the speedster Josh Taguri going down, and then the shot into the crease. Ducking low, Tanner Thompson, I believe that was, off the bench. We'll get our first wipe down of the evening, 18:06, and this will give Mimico's bench an opportunity to argue the non-call. Play about to resume in the crease. To our right, away from Hartley, is the AP, Dylan Riley, as he gives to Van Galen. Around the corner, on the crease, Hutchcraft, a good save on Travis Brown. As now Mimico will pull it out. And quickly to the front door. They get those changes in so quickly, as McConvey was the first one out to restart this offensive set. Tanner Thompson. I believe this is Ben French coming around the corner. The man all over him, and looks like a holding penalty will come up here to Orangeville and send Mimico to their first power play. Hold is the call from John Watson. Jeff Henrik, the guilty party. Comes 2.5 minutes into the second period. And it will give Mimico an opportunity to stretch out their 1-goal lead after the first period. Two hard-nosed defenses going head-to-head in that first period. Look for a lot more of the same as Donville sets the pick, opening it up. The sidearm shot there does get through from Justin Scott. As Hartley squeezes the rebound. Now quickly up for Zach Masson. Shot clock turned off. This one's going to bounce the way of Mimico, though. Some miscommunication with the penalty killers. And Keaton Thompson will jog it up over center to give for Ben French. Tanner Thompson, Jonathan Donville over into the far corner. Mimico keeping it high. Now they return. Into the corner, Scott again. All 5 have touched. As it's up top for Thompson. French rifles a shot. Full split save made by Hartley. Saw that a few times on Wednesday night in Burlington. As French will give to Donville on the far side. Thompson up top. Halfway through the power play here. As Ben French has it again. Thompson backs up a little bit so he can pass into the corner. The cutter, Donville, can't get a shot. Gaudette having trouble corralling that bouncing ball. Thompson, the fake on the pass, had a couple defenders peek over that way. But as Thompson makes the shot, it's Hartley that goes with him to make the save. And now French will jog it up over center. Into the corner for Scott. Donville to the middle. French to Thompson. Behind his back, Gaudette the shot. And Hartley will collapse over top of the ball, waiting for the whistle that never comes. 5 seconds left on the power play. We'll basically do it as Mackenzie Mitchell brings it up to center, and we will go back to 5-on-5 as he just holds position there. And we do go even strength. Mac O'Keefe, big collision before passing off to Van Galen. Far side around the corner, Garrett. Andrew Garrett chases this one down in front of his own bench. Mac O'Keefe in there hard. And it will be a reset as Mimico picks up the ball. Del Zotto, a parting shot for Matthew Sykes. It looked like, but their offense is back on the floor. 5 minutes gone here in the second period. Donville to the crease. Thompson can't find him as there was a defender right on his back. Now Thomas McConvey to the crease. His shot, rebound rolls wide. Picked up here by Justin Brack. And Orangeville, another counterattack setting up. It's going to be Travis Brown leading it. Last couple change here. As Austin Lane, wearing number 91, backed into his man. Pass came onto the near side. And the shot finds its way through Hutchcraft, and Orangeville ties this up. Took them over almost 26 minutes to score, but they finally do, as Mimico with only one late in that period as well, about halfway through, I guess, by Torek Orban, but Orangeville now evening the score. As we said, these two teams with the win by Six Nations earlier today, a very important game. Mimico can take second, but for Orangeville to close the gap on that 4th place scrum. There's a number of whacks, and look out at the bench here. A number of arms go up, and none of them are from the official. There was a ton happening right in front of the door. And the officials let it all go. Donville all the way into the crease, takes the shot. Hudson lets that one roll by, and a murmur through the packed house here as everybody was watching the contact over in front of that Mimico bench. Big chop there. Ball carrier keeps his feet and then takes a big pounding on his way down. And we're going to get a slashing call here as Donville. It's the second hit, the big one, as Gaudette goes over to talk to him. Looks like they're setting up the power play actually. As for the second time this period, Mimico to the power play, and it's Jeff Henrik to the box. 6.5 gone in the period as Thompson flips behind his back, a couple fakes, and then trying to be too cute on the pass there. Briefly went awry. Thompson will chase down this errant pass as they tried to go cross floor. Thompson to Donville, reaching over top of the defender. Did get the shot away, but the rebound heads into the stick of Kyle Stavely, who's going to push up to Mitchell. Mitchell to Masson, and they'll slow down. Zach Masson still with it over the top. in front of his own bench now. Masson will change one man. Bit of a late change, and now they're not sure who to send out as Austin Lane gets to the crease. Hutchcraft with the save, and all the way down the floor they have one, and the breakaway attempt foiled there by Hartley as Thomas McConvey was right on him. 50 seconds left in the Mimico power play. Shot clock off again as Dylan Riley takes it in the corner. Taguri will force him the long way. Subak the trailer. Subak first contact. Taguri forcing him into the boards now. Riley keeps it alive, spins back. Riley slide over there by Warren Jeffrey and the big bump, but Riley maintains possession, getting it up top, and they'll slow things down even more now with 15 left to kill. What a job done by Dylan Riley, using his size, listed as an AP here for Orangeville. Facing two of the grittier defenders you're going to find on this Mimico lineup. Mac O'Keefe to the far side. Cresswell. Mimico looked for the interception and nearly ran themselves out of the play. As this pass comes through, it will be Mimico ball. They get it up to center, but no further in the stick of Warren Jeffrey. Bouncing around. Hartley sends the big paddle out the front door. Is O'Keefe, and he's going to step in the crease. And extra shove after the fact. I believe that's Matthew Sykes, the defender there, putting O'Keefe into the end boards. We'll stop the clock just past 9 minutes gone in the second period. So Orangeville retaining possession here on the far side. O'Keefe to Garrett. Garrett looking to go back to O'Keefe. It's in the feet of a couple players. Mimico players lost his stick. Sykes couldn't pick it up. Tries to intercept now as O'Keefe takes the shot. And still digging for it. Pardon me, that's Andrew Garrett who gets tripped up in the corner. Now O'Keefe coming in. Van Galen is there as well. Daniel Ballawader waiting for this to squeak free. And Ballawader right in the face of O'Keefe. And looking for if he can draw this one loose in front of the Orangeville bench. It's Mac O'Keefe down low. Ballawader in on the boards, and Ballawader gets up, comes away with the Lucy. And will now flip to Robert Hudson, who quickly gets out of harm's way. Couple intense scrums in the last couple minutes in front of either bench. As Hudson now gives it to Justin Scott. One-time shot from Donville. My goodness, as Hartley went to his side. Not sure if that got all the way through as the Orangeville player filled in. Hartley will do some housekeeping now as we pass the halfway mark of the second period. As Zach Deacon tries to find Braden Cresswell. Cutting through the middle. Keaton Thompson with it. Ball into the corner for Mimico. It's returned back for Torek Orban. Only one to find the back of the net here for Mimico today. Gaudette. Far side, his shot goes off the backboards. Way late in the shot clock. It'll just be lifted up over top of everybody by McConvey into the corner, and they'll get their defense on. Orangeville over center. It's Scott Delzato. A couple of the Mimico Pee-wees trying to lead the Let's Go Mimico chant now. Over off to our right, we saw a number of them from Orangeville take to the floor early as Toguri down the floor transition. Quickly in front of Hartley, puts it in, and now it's 2-1 in favor of Mimico. Before the game, as they do, before I was so rudely interrupted by that goal, as they do every pre-game, the Orangeville Minor takes the Northman flag for a run all the way out to center. And they all get turns to go out and wave the hornhead flag around to welcome the teams on the floor. Of course, we have the Pee Wee Tunnel, Victory Tunnel as well. What Orangeville's hoping is a victory tunnel. Hutchcraft and Hartley heading off for a water break here. Monday night, Orangeville is next in action. They have a decent schedule down the stretch, actually. Peterborough, KW, and Barrie, their next three. They also have Barrie on July the 7th. Their final game of the season here at the Tony Rose Arena in Orangeville, and mixed in there June 27th against Burlington and the 30th against Brampton. And July the 2nd could be a big one as the Orangeville Northmen go to Six Nations for a rematch of last year's OLA final. Ballawader went up top to try and get the check, and he was spun around. Not sure if it was a trip or not, but he's down and he's hurt. Ballawader limping his way off. Would be a big loss defensively for Mimico if that is in fact the case, if he's gone for any extended period of time. But as he went off, putting nearly no weight on his right leg, as the face-off won there by Orangeville. Trainer continues to talk to Ballawader. We'll see if we can keep checking one eye over there. As we keep one eye on the floor, we watch Cresswell's sidearm shot sail into the screening just above the Northman Alumni Booster Room. He played right onto the crease where Zach Masson was looking to go over the top. Masson complaining he's being held. Official not buying it. And Subak's stick ripped out of his hands as Taguri brings the ball up to center. Mark Thompson has his arm high, and it should be a holding call, I believe, coming to Orangeville. Holding the stick, perhaps, as Mimico will go. 6 attackers here. 10 on the clock. Torek Orban pushing into the corner. Donville taking top spot now as they work for the quick stick for Justin Scott. He missed it completely. And we now will get the Mimico power play. So ball will be restarted up top here. For Mimico, they lead 2-1. Torek Orban and Josh Taguri. Taguri in the middle period here. Just a few minutes ago, Torek Orban in that first. The only goal of the first period. Thompson, another couple fakes left and right before shooting straight down the pipe, and Hartley stayed in to make the save, again going full splits. As the shot clock turns off here for Orangeville. Riley down the far side, Hudson on him, and the last minute drag of the stick there from Matt Graham popped it free. Quickly back to Mac O'Keefe though on the crease, and Hutchcraft saved his shot. The Northmen are going to get it back. Riley tries the same move down the far boards. He's going to circle the crease here, forced outside by Keaton Thompson. Dylan Riley, this looks very familiar to the last penalty kill, as he put in a lot of work in this near corner and eventually push the pile all the way over to the far side of the floor. This time, Mimico will get possession, though, as it'll be Ben French coming out the front door. Under 6 minutes left to play in the second period. Donville up top. Hard shot right off the mask of Rylan Hartley, and John Watson will come over to check on him. He says he's okay. So Chris Willman, meanwhile, brings it up over center. Man, Hartley ate one right there. 5 left in the power play. As the bench calling for a shot. Balawader with the helmet off. He's not anywhere near his teammates on the bench. As Austin Lane takes the shot. Penalty has expired. As this ball is going to skip all the way down the floor into the corner for Taguri. Josh Taguri getting there first. Had thoughts of taking it to the net, but nobody with him, so he'll just circle back out and away. Justin Scott with it. Fresh man off the bench for Mimico is Donville. He returns it back. A couple big picks on that far side. As Gaudette tried to force the ball free. Torek Orban now tied up with his man in front of the Mimico bench. They're going to go separate ways as Mac O'Keefe has it here. Mimico player knocks the stick out of the Orangeville man's hand. And a very half-hearted penalty call there from Mark Thompson. As we close in on the last 4 minutes here. Cresswell on the crease. Quick stick. And we're tied up again. Travis Brown. But it's 2-2 now on the goal from Travis Brown, extra attacker. As Orangeville now will look for their first lead of the game. Cresswell around the far side. Back here for Masson. Masson flipping in front, and everyone collided in on Braden Davis right as he lost his footing. He was all alone there briefly as Zach Masson now gets another opportunity. Way late in the shot clock, though, and he's just going to be bounced out of his stick. Played in for Hutchcraft. Taguri finds his man off the bench. Into the corner and feeding the cutter, Thomas McConvey. His shot goes in. Hartley, the quick reaction save, but Mimico will get another possession as Donville works it into the corner. Thompson up top. Corner again. Ben French, his shot goes wide. Thompson was looking for the rebound, now turns and goes to the bench as Orangeville has possession. 3 minutes left in the period as they're led up the floor by Mackenzie Mitchell. Gains the zone and will now flip the ball off here to Matt Van Galen. Van Galen into the corner. He goes back to Cresswell, who goes around his back. Hutchcraft with a nice save. Van Galen reaching for this one. Gets tied up with Matt Graham. And we get a shot clock violation in the crease that the officials want to make sure starts back close to Hutchcraft. Robert Hudson now into the far half boards. Back for Torek Orban. Twist on the shot there. Hartley had it bouncing around in the crease. Loose for a little bit. Torek Orban, a brief leap in front of the Orangeville netminder, but nothing further, so that will allow Chris Willman to bring it up over center. Willman to O'Keefe. Van Galen's the last one out. Here's Riley now, takes the shot, and he has to duck out of the way of the net as that shot went wide. Making sure they make one count is Garrett. And it's going to be rolled up the boards on the rebound all the way up for Jeff Henrik. Henrik again being worked over by Warren Jeffrey. This goes to the half boards. Riley around his back. Van Galen couldn't come up with it. Neither could Subak or Hutchcraft. as Tuguri takes off. And Tuguri in all alone. And you have one coming off the bench. It was Donville and a couple of Orangeville players there making sure that ball didn't get the way through. Still bouncing around free as Kieran Costello nearly got put into his own bench. He's going to go there on his own now to make the change. But we're nearing the last minute of play here in period number 2 as Thompson takes a sidearm shot. Donville tied up. So he goes for the rebound. Tanner Thompson will pick up as we're now in the final minute. Thompson to Donville outside. Donville dancing around with Stavely on him. So he tried to slide. Oh, somehow the ball worked its way through to Tanner Thompson, who took a shot, and another save made by Hartley. Ben French chasing Braden Davis down the floor. As Davis will stop, we'll get 30 seconds left in the period. And Cresswell will signal timeout. Orangeville Northmen looking for their first lead of the game to send them into the locker rooms before our final frame here at the Tony Rose Arena in Orangeville. Hartley looks like he's going to go to the bench. And now DJ Cleveley sends him back, so they'll go 5 attackers here. 29.2 on the clock, 17 on the shot clock. So they can't kill the whole thing. There will be about 12 seconds left to work, and we assume Mimico will call their timeout at that point. Looks like they're already talking. There's 6 of them huddled together on the bench. Probably about what that last play is going to be, as Braden Davis will start it up top. Davis still with it, a lot of banging in tight. Cresswell and Lane are in there for Orangeville. Up over the top, Travis Brown. Down to Riley, who dives, ends up at the feet of Hutchcraft. 10 seconds left in the period as Mimico will run the floor here. Hudson over to the far side, Donville. Davis got a piece of that, and this will be just batted down the floor. Hutchcraft didn't have time to make it off the floor, and we end tied. 2-all is your score after 3. A good defensive battle that will probably continue to the third. Just about set for period number 3 as they line up for the face-off, and Daniel Ballawader is out there for this face-off for Mimico. We saw him go off in that second period hurt, but looks like he is good enough at least to finish this game. That right calf or area is taped up pretty heavily, and I don't believe it was to start, but anyways, good to see him back out there. As I said before, that would have been a big defensive loss for Mimico if he was gone for any length of time. Still doesn't look 100% on that bench though, as we are 30 seconds into period number 3, tied 2-2 between the Orangeville Northmen and the Mimico Mountaineers. They go right to left here in this period. Matthew Carrick in for the JVI Sports Network and our season-long coverage of the Ontario Junior A Lacrosse League. Ball pushed to the far side as Ben French wheels around. Torek Orban rips a hard shot into Hartley. And quickly up the floor, though, is Orangeville. Mike McCannell taking that shot. Good enough to reset the shot clock in the quick transition. Saw a lot of defenders still up there. They'll hold on, though. Mac O'Keefe over into the far side. Cresswell with it. Cresswell back for O'Keefe now. Cresswell falls while trying to set the pick. Him and Matt Graham again getting tied up. The much smaller Matt Graham, as we said, AP from the, I believe, Mississauga Tomahawks, if I'm not mistaken. But a minute and a half in, this has been a game that has featured defense. If you're a fan of that side of the floor, this has been one for you. As Hartley, not sure where it is. He's again in the splits, but it had steered well wide into the corner. As Mimico will push up the floor. Donville to the far side for French. French just wide of the crease. Zach Masson showing the official he's not holding on to the arm. The lead official not buying it though. Pardon me, the lead official was Mark Thompson. Trail official John Watson not buying it, and we'll get our first wipe down here of the third period. Housekeeping taken care of, and the power play for Mimico starts by going over to the left side of the floor. Justin Scott has it. Donville back up top as they play catch. I believe looking for Thompson, who was cutting through, and that pass just a little high as Donville has it back though as it bounced right off the boards. Quick stick attempt back down for, is that French, who was taken down on the side of the crease, still managed to take the shot and clear out of the crease. As that took 25 seconds out of the power play. Thompson has it back, directing traffic now. He wanted a pick. That didn't come. As now McConvey goes into the middle, Justin Scott, as Torque Orban has to chase the errant pass. Thompson, a sidearm shot there, and Mackenzie Mitchell down on all fours, trying to regain his stick and his balance. That hit him right in the foot, it looks like, as he hobbles off. The captain of this Orangeville team now limping off the floor in considerable pain. Trainer right there with 50 seconds left in the penalty. 3.5 gone in the period. Riley to the far side, skirts along the boards. Now comes to face another defender. Chokes up on the shot as he only had one hand on his stick on his wrong side. Now Orangeville will have it all the way outside. The pass intended for Mac O'Keefe. One of the shot clocks went off right at that exact moment, as, of course, shot clock should have been turned off as they were killing the penalty, but they had to chase it down anyways. 20 left here for Mimico, and that would do it for their shot clock as well. So watch the penalty box at the end of this, but it's not going to matter as Tanner Thompson regains the lead here for Mimico with a blistering shot from up top. Play back underway. It goes to the Orangeville bench as they win the face-off. Now trailing 3-2 after that power play goal by Tanner Thompson. Around the top, though, Scott Delzato to his wrong side still takes the shot. Hutchcraft with the save as it goes up out of play. Up top for Zach Deacon. Deacon with it. Tied up in front of him was Jeff Henrik, who works into the corner. Far side for Van Galen is the ball, though. Henrik still with it. And again, Deacon filled in front of him. Deacon now takes the ball over to the far side. That one's going to be knocked away as Warren Jeffrey chasing it down. Jeffrey still with it, looking for help. Only one with him, so he's going to circle the crease now with a wall of Orangeville Northmen coming off the bench. Wings it around and pushes it all the way back up to center. Warren Jeffries also played some MSL this year. Him and Matthew Sykes earlier this season suiting up for the Oakville Rock in a game that featured 7 players who had Mimico ties either as alumni or as current players. That shot goes in. Hartley with the save. Mimico briefly with 6 men on the floor as one of the trail defenders had lost his stick, and that went unnoticed by the officials, but Mimico will have possession here as Donville crashes into the defensive line. Now on the near side, Alex Simons trying to keep them at bay. Donville back with it, looks for the cutter, which was McConvey. Over to the far side, though. I believe that's McConvey. In the corner is Justin Scott. Was the middleman, and Ben French has to leave it for Chris Willman. With 6 minutes gone here in the period. Here's Cresswell, and the Orangeville player filled in. Bench looking for a penalty, not going to come though, as not sure if that was Cresswell's shot or Van Galen, but either way, the score remains tied, or returns to tied rather. as that one scooted up towards the top after the big collision down on the crease. And it's just another rip shot that ends up finding its way in behind Riley Hutchcraft. So a defensive first couple periods opens up here with outside shots beating the goaltenders. A slip there from Zach Deacon just as he shot. Hutchcraft with the save. Mimico will go down the far side. Ben French spins away from a check. Played into the corner, out of the stick of Matthew Gaudette. And Henrik will come up with it on the near side. He's got 3 with him. As they tried to get back to Van Galen, it bounces straight to Warren Jeffrey, though. Jeffrey will find Scott, who goes to the crease, and a sidearm shot by James Guest well wide as he was all alone. Rebound rolls to Van Galen all alone down the crease. He goes over his shoulder. His shot Hutchcraft saves, and Van Galen gets filled in after the fact by Keaton Thompson coming over. 2:15 gone here in, that's 7:15 gone in the third period, 20-minute periods, as opposed to the 15 we play in the winter. As Alex Simons pushes it there for Tanner Thompson, who goes all the way up over top of the horn. Zach Masson matched him stride for stride. And here's Mackenzie Mitchell after taking that shot off the foot. Returning to the floor. As Mac O'Keefe has it here. Austin Lane now back for O'Keefe. O'Keefe dancing around, gets past Subak. Cresswell with it into the middle. And what was that all about? As Matthew Sykes ate a couple glove shots, it looked like, from Scott Delzato. As Donville has it. Over for French. French around the top. Directing traffic with the head. Scott came up top to set the pick, and good thing nobody was in there as Hartley has to dance out of the way. A couple players coming in to say what they thought of that. As now Hartley will reset the net. No call for the wipe down either, so time continues to tick down here. 8.5 left in the period. To the far side, a brief fake, and Travis Brown hits the Jets. All the way to the crease. Hutchcraft with the save. And with that, he'll ask for the water break. And we'll step aside for a brief timeout here on the JVI Sports Network. As if the standings weren't bad enough, getting word tonight that St. Catharines is all over the Burlington Chiefs. So St. Catharines can jump into what would be a tie for Mimico as things stand right now. Again, Mimico with a win can take second by themselves. So that would be St. Catharines into third if that were to happen. Collision in the corner. Mimico player goes down hard. But straight back to the ball, though, for Matthew Sykes. He'll get up for Jonathan Donville. Burlington Chiefs sitting on 11 points, tied with Toronto Beaches. Burlington with 2 games in hand as Donville headed to the net. And a couple Orangeville players run past the ball. That allows Gaudette to take another shot. French after the ball carrier. In the corner, it's played up for Justin Brack, though. And Brack's going to leave for the offense. So Orangeville, should the Beaches lose and Orangeville win, would jump ahead of Toronto and Burlington. And then end the night tied with Brampton if St. Catharines hangs on in that one. So literally, but minute by minute, watching the out-of-town scoreboard as this Junior A season now enters its back half. And dare we say the most wonderful time of the year. Here's Donville racing through. Loose ball is in the feet of Hartley, but he does find it just in time Referee lost sight of it and actually called a stop to play. So that allows Orangeville to come out with it. Austin Lane, a sidearm shot. Rifles off the backboards. This one's going to go all the way down the floor, in behind the net of Hartley. 6 on the shot clock, though, a long way from home are the Orangeville Northmen, as that pass attempt rings off the backboards. And desperation now will just lift it up into the screening in behind Rylan Hartley. Mimico with it on the near side. Tanner Thompson around to pick. And now the roll and the shot. And Hartley has it in the glove and picks it up to show the official. Oh my goodness, he could be one of the most flexible goaltenders in the Junior A, as we've seen him do the splits with no effort a few times now, and now leaning backwards as Matthew Gaudette thought he had one. O'Keefe to the far side. Van Galen had to take a little bit off that shot with a man in his face, as they switch spots now and go to Riley. This one's going to go off the backboards, close to going over the glass, but not quite, as Mac O'Keefe chases it down. Pick and the roll here as they go in. Hutchcraft down, watches that one all the way into the pads as Andrew Garrett took the shot. Played up here by Jeffrey to Keaton Thompson. Far side, Donville. Donville will put in the corner Robert Hudson. Back for French. One tips off his stick. Off the backboards, goes right back to French, though, who was able to take the shot. Another split save made by Rylan Hartley as the rebound comes back for Zach Deacon. Those are two teams that did lose a couple players last year. Cresswell coming in before we talk about that, though, takes the shot and scores, and that breaks the tie. The first lead of the game for Orangeville. Man, these two teams always play each other tight. As they'll signal the goaltenders to get water. As Cresswell was in the corner, made his way back to the top of the crease and is just going to fire it home. 4-3 now in favor of Orangeville. We've got a timeout on the floor. (4-3) in favor of Orangeville now. Their first lead of the game comes with 7:38 left in the third period. It has been a defensive standstill to this point, as now Mimico tries to get one back. One of those players that played for Oakville earlier this season, Matthew Lee, was one of the top offensive players for this Mimico squad last year, who graduated. James Barkley, their captain, graduating last year, as well as Tanner Thompson goes over the top to put one home, and we may go back and forth here to end this one. Is 7 minutes left to go. As I said before, how many times has Thompson just straight reached over the top and taken that shot? Of course, a star down south, played in the Final Four NCAA tournament last year as well. Was pretty late coming back to Mimico as a result. Orangeville always seems to find those graduates that fill roles before the playoff run. As again, like I said, we close in on the trade deadline. This game could have an impact on what happens to probably both of these teams, I would say. Brampton and Six Nations are the only real big teams that Orangeville plays down the stretch in their last 7 games. Teams that are in playoff contention anyways, as Hartley dives head first out of the crease to cover that ball and win possession here for his squad. This will end the season series between these two teams. The season opener in Junior A was a 1-goal victory for Orangeville over Mimico at the start of the season, as Mac O'Keefe rams that one off the backboards. As Mimico jogs this one up. And of course, my apologies to Orangeville fans for mentioning Derek Downs being traded at the deadline out to Coquitlam at the end last year. Of course, ending their Minto Cup run in overtime with the overtime goal for the Coquitlam Adonacs. Minto Cup will return here to Ontario this year, played, of course, at the Memorial Centre in Brampton. Top two teams in Ontario will play for that, whether it's Brampton or not, as this one's intercepted, and taking off is Keaton Thompson, the shot, and down low, Hartley the save. All kinds of trouble on the far side. Mac Mitchell looking for it. He was all by himself though, so he does regain the possession. Matt Van Galen and Subak shoving each other, as Van Galen's going to end up with a shot. That one skipped off the arm of Hartley and into the corner. Or pardon me, Hutchcraft, as Hutchcraft goes up to the crease and takes that one off the logo. Now Cresswell taken down. I believe he was on his way, and Sykes just helped him get the rest of the way there, as we're under 5 minutes left to play here in period number 3, tied at 4. Now why not? Pee-wee's tied 5-5 to start the day. The alumni game needed a penalty shot at the end of regulation and then an overtime period, which only lasted about 15 or 20 seconds, as it was scored on the first opportunity down the floor. But it's been tight action all day, as McConvey reached behind him trying to pick that up. Still ended up with a decent shot, and Hartley makes the save, but seems fitting that this one would be tight, as, like I said, these two teams play each other tight every time they see each other. And it's been a tight day of lacrosse so far. But there's Orangeville. Scott Delzato from outside returns the lead to the Orangeville Northmen. Defensive game all the way through the first two periods, but now we go back and forth a couple times, and Orangeville has a 5-4 lead, under 4 minutes left to play. Scott Delzato from the outside rips a shot past Riley Hutchcraft. Ballawader to the faceoff. As we said, good to see him back on. He does not look 100%. He hasn't taken a defensive shift since injuring his, what looks to be, right leg. Mostly just out there for face-offs, as Taguri takes his man into the boards in front of the Mimico bench. Cresswell looking for the spin move. Now Subak comes to help out. All the way up top, Austin Lane, his shot well wide, and it'll be a shot clock violation against Orangeville. Officials restarting this one all the way up top at center. Alex Simons with it. Order for French now in the corner. Couple dance steps being made here by Justin Scott. And Scott gets it back for Simons. Up top for Gaudette. And Gaudette gets stripped. And here come the Northmen, led by Jeff Henrik. Henrik to the trailer. The shot there well wide, as that one bounces straight to Chris Willman though. Willman, whoa, all the way back for Mackenzie Mitchell. Hartley on his face, headbutts that one out of the crease. Couldn't touch it cleanly. Not sure if that would be over and back or not. Or back in, rather. But Hartley wasn't going to take the chance. The two officials are going to take the opportunity to discuss this. They've got 8 on the shot clock. They want to make sure that's correct. Orangeville sent one off the floor to make the change. They're going to tick the shot clock down. It was at 8, and now Orangeville does get their right players on the floor here. Shot clock ticking down. 10 seconds is where they're going to start this one. Right at 2.5 on the clock as Hutchcraft was ready for the quick shot. And he's just going to flip to Hudson. So we close in on the 2-minute warning. Tanner Thompson. Shot coming here from Justin Scott, though. Thompson with 2 already in the game. Has it again with a fresh 30. In the corner, back for Donville. Donville went to go to the crease. Defender slipped. Justin Brack on him. Tanner Thompson looking for the cutter, and they can't connect. Almost stripped free by Scott, but a last-second spin move there from Henrik will keep it in the Orangeville sticks. Cresswell down the near side. Works around to Pick. Now pushes towards the Mimico bench. Cresswell getting it back. Couple dance steps here. All the way back tracking. 3 on the shot clock. As minute 20 left in the period. Orangeville maybe a little bit early to be running this out, but we saw that in the OLA finals last year. A lot of faith put in this defense, and why not after the night they put in here. Big posture up there as they go to Alex Simons, to Donville. Big rip coming there from Thomas McConvey, and what did that hit before it went up out of play? Officials are going to go discuss. A reminder, throughout the summer you can follow us on Twitter at JVI Video. We will let you know where we are, what games will be added on tape delay, what games will be live, whether here in Junior A or Major Series. The end result is draw ball, as they couldn't figure out what that hit. Foregoing sky high, 58 seconds on the clock. 1-goal lead for Orangeville. Both teams, I believe, with timeouts here, can use 1 timeout. For Mimico, I think they haven't used one yet. Orangeville definitely did. And as soon as they win the face-off possession, it rolls to Subak. And indeed, Mimico will burn their timeout with 56 seconds left and trailing by 1. So out of the huddle, here comes Mimico. Hutchcraft on the bench. We'll see what they've sorted out here. Donville, one scampering away. Shot clock not running. Donville has it. Skips away from him, though. Straight into the stick. I believe that's Braden Davis down the far side. Tried to pass over here, and Donville will get it and reset the shot clock with 27 seconds left. Mimico looks like they will have last shot. Hutchcraft again on the bench. Alex Simons for Scott. Far side in the corner, back for Donville. Jonathan Donville with it. Donville dancing away. Shot comes from the far side. It's off the stick of Scott. Back to Mimico, though. A shot that goes wide. Benj French with it. Shot clock dying down, and it will expire. And so will time in the game. It was a flurry at the end. Orangeville did not take a lead until the 3rd period, but they come away with the victory in the season series, 2-0 here against the Mimico Mountaineers, and that will bump Orangeville up in the standings again. Not sure what St. Catharines did tonight, but if they did beat Burlington, that will tie Orangeville and Brampton for what would be 4th place, as St. Catharines ties Mimico for 3rd. Pointstreak.com is where you'll find the entire Junior A schedule. Of course, jvisportsnetwork.com is where you'll find ours, as well as at JVI Video. Be sure to subscribe at youtube.com/JVI Video. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the JVI Sports Network and the OLA, I'm Matthew.